Welcome to the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. I'm Deborah Deras, your host and top Latina peak performance speaker. Each week, you will learn from top experts in the speaking industry, insider secrets of what works and what doesn't, so that you can monetize your expertise. My intention is to be your speaking coach, to provide you with resources and experts that have done it before you so that you can get your message out into the world faster and easier. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. I'm smiling. Why? Because we're taping, guess when? On my birthday. That's right. I am a Scorpio. Don't hold it against me. But I love that I get to have one of my new favorite people as my birthday gift. When I woke up this morning, I was like, ooh, first thing on my agenda is I get to introduce you, my amazing community, to this amazing woman, if you don't already know her. Because, of course, on my Facebook, I think I'm introducing you to her to someone, and they're like, I already know her. And you're going to know her because she is known on the microphone. Her name is Chandra Brooks, and she is an award-winning author and social entrepreneur. In 2017, Chandra launched the Socialpreneur, a purpose-driven business paired with a book titled, you're going to love this, Black, Brown, and Political. Get informed, get empowered, and change the game. Chandra uses her platform to spread the message of social entrepreneurship, civic engagement, and women empowerment on stages across the country. And guess what she's here to do now? Share with you how to be a paid speaker. Please help me welcome Chandra.
What a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much, Deborah, and for allowing me to be on your show and giving me the opportunity to share the love and all this wonderfulness that we do as speakers on stages. Thank you.
Yes. And as soon as we connected, right, we felt that igniting spark, that synergy. And
Yes.
it's because we both believe, in the collaboration in the community that when two or more are gathered, you can really transform the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to hear, what is a socialpreneur?
Well, like we talked about before, and what I shared with you before is that I come from a background of community, civic engagement, and sitting on commissions, nonprofit boards, and volunteer work, and all this great stuff. So I decided, that I wanted to combine all of those years of community work and civic engagement with entrepreneurship. And I said, okay, how can I do this, and still support myself and make a living, right? And not just volunteer my whole life, because I can't survive that way. So,
Exactly.
and I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So how do I make this happen? Use my skill and everything I've learned and developed and turn it into a business. So what do people come to me all the time for? And I try to figure that out. Well, they want coaching, they want support, they want to know how to start nonprofits, they want to know how to run for office, they want to know how to do all these things that you do. Okay, so you can teach people how to do this. So that's where the social entrepreneur came from. So combining all the social work and entrepreneurship together. A social entrepreneur is a person who finds a problem within the community and figures out a way to support themselves to do it. So that's what a social entrepreneur is. Deb, you there?
Yes, and that is so important because I was previously a professor in my life before a speaker, and I would teach human services people that wanted to be social workers, people that wanted to be counselor. And my students sincerely thought either you could make a difference and change the world, or you can make money. And the
Mm-hmm.
idea of I wish I would have had that definition. I could have broke it down for them. The idea of being doing something that's good for society, but that
Mm-hmm.
also is sustaining you, was just not something that I think a lot of Black and Brown communities and just anybody was raised in knowing that you could do this. And
Right.
so I love that you realize that, in order to give, you also need to be giving from a full cup.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
So how
Exactly.
did you make that transition from having a full-time job, I guess, or
Hmm.
role in office to being totally freelance as a speaker?
Well, it took a lot of trial and error, of course, right? So I started my business while I was still working full time. And I was doing it, at night, on the weekends. I was, trial and error, figuring things out. How can I do this? How can I develop programs? I got myself a coach because I think it's very important to have somebody direct you, somebody who's done it before, somebody who has the experience, and somebody can hold you accountable, and can keep you going and keep you on track. It was so important for me to do, and I did that right away. It's something that not a lot of people do. They don't get coaches right away. They just kind of jump in it on their own, and then they, without the support. So the good thing is that I got a coach right away, and she helped me develop my whole vision for my business and also my book, which was so important. And this is what I tell speakers, that it's so good to have a book because it's a good platform to help you book speaking engagements. And that's kind of how I did it. It was just a lot, 9 months of working it out and figuring out until I could finally leave my job and work full time, run my business, run my coaching business, and also start, getting booked for stages.
So step one, if you're taking notes, and I do recommend you take notes,
Yeah.
is keep your day job.
Yeah.
Step two, and I think this is so important because a lot of people that I coach don't realize that it's trial and error. They want to get it perfect the first time and just and know everything. If you need to know how, and that's really the ego, that's not your amigo, you're going to be stuck. You're going to say, "Oh, I just can't do it." What you have to do is uh, get the feedback of the error and then correct, right? That's what you're doing. You didn't take it personally that, this didn't work out or that didn't work out and you just kept going.
Right, right. I had to. And I think if you want it, this is what I tell my clients: how
Ah.
bad do you want it? How
Mhm.
bad do you want it? Because, people usually, if you're not passionate about something, you give up pretty easily. But if you're really passionate and you're really doing what you know that you were called on this earth to do, then you keep going. You scrap that plan. Okay, that didn't work. Let's
Right.
keep going. Let's keep going because I wanted it that bad. And that's when I knew that I was supposed to be doing this, because I would never give up. I haven't given up since I started. I just kept going. A lot of things didn't work out, right? I started a podcast too before, and I stopped it because I was so busy, and wasn't priority at that moment. And maybe it just didn't felt right. And if it didn't feel right for me, I
Right.
would put it to the side and do the things that felt good.
Yeah, and that's the difference between speaking as a vocation and speaking as I call it a soul's contract. Like it's my purpose. When I say, and the tagline of this show, you are
Hmm.
the messenger for the message, the people that are inspired to listen to this show, it's because they got called. They didn't want to necessarily be on stage,
Yeah.
but their inner voice pushed them to hold the microphone because like you, they have that calling that's
Hmm.
deep in their soul. And so when you first got started, how did you book paid gigs? How did you figure that out?
Well, I've been speaking for free for so long that people knew that I was a speaker. I would be called because as a leader in the community and holding certain titles, people would call me to facilitate, to MC, to speak at a youth conference. But after I started my business full time, I could not do free anymore. Unless it was local, unless I seen other opportunities that could arise from it. In regards to my book, if I could sell my book, if I could sell my products, if I can talk about my business, then I can do it. And then, or if there was some type of reciprocal type of benefit for both of us, for me to be there. I just kind of set some boundaries,
Yeah.
because I can't just speak for free all the time. Um,
Well, what about the community? You want to help the community, don't you? That's
Yeah, exactly. And I would hear that, Deb. I would hear that from so many people. And you got to, you're a leader in this community, and you got to stay. This is what I hear from one of my mentors who's very hard on me. And I said, well, I have to sustain myself, and I have to make a living. Okay. And my time is valuable, and my expertise is valuable. So this is how it's going to go now. This is how it's going to work. And I have to set boundaries and really say no. And it's okay to say no. And being okay with that, because I come from a world of saying yes all the time and
Yes.
from giving my time all well, free time all the time. So being able to finally say no and be okay with it, that's when things changed.
Yes. Because when you say no to what is not for you, you
Mhm.
open up the opportunities for what is for you because there's the time and energy.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
universe abhors a vacuum. So when the space is there, that big opportunity to really transform the world will be there.
Mhm.
So I want to talk a little bit about your book. So, what was your process to write the book? Because I know so many people that are listening, they're like, that's my dream. I want to be an author. How did you do
Yeah.
that?
Well, I had always, being involved in civic engagement, I would always get text messages, phone calls from family members, from friends. Chandra, who do I vote for? Chandra, who's the mayor of, my city? I don't even know who the city council members are. I don't even know how this works. And all these questions all the time. And it was very frustrating because I seen the importance to be involved in local politics and civic engagement. I knew that me as one person, the way I was involved, I was able to create change and really to make an impact. So if I can empower more people to create that impact and to sit at the table, even maybe run for office one day, get more involved, help get good candidates elected for office, I could trickle down all of this education and information and that I could spread it far and wide. So how can I do that more effectively rather than just Chandra going live talking about it all the time? Put it in a book. So I put it in a book. And the book was hard to write. It was like 6 month process. My coach was like, "Come on, Chandra, come on," because I hate writing. So it wasn't easy for me. I would sit in front of my laptop and it'd take forever for me to get a couple paragraphs out. But I finally did it. And the way I was able to do it is that I spoke it into my phone and I did voice dictation.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
I spoke it in my phone, did voice dictation, and I finished it in 2 weeks when I
No
did
way.
that. I finished it.
Everybody, this is an aha moment. So you're great at speaking. Go ahead
Yes.
and speak your book and have it
Yes.
transcribed. Why sit down and write if you're not a writer, you're a speaker? There you go.
Right, right, exactly. That's perfect for speakers, right, Deb? Is like, you're a speaker, you do this all the time. You could speak it into the phone and have somebody edit it, get your voice in there, make sure it sounds like you, and you're
Right.
good to go.
Oh my God, that's genius. I
Yeah.
started writing my new book and I have not done it. So I have to stop being that manana wana because one time, no, it really helps with increase your fees, number one, if you're an author.
Yeah.
And number two, the information, like you said, that's out there, people need to have it. Somebody emailed me after a speech and said, Deborah, I went to Barnes and Noble. That was back in those days. And I looked for your book and it wasn't there. I'm like, because I haven't written it yet. I was like, okay. So she was my inspiration to sit down and write it. But
Right.
um, wow, there's so many questions I have for you.
Mhm.
The speaking industry is not an easy one. I guess it's kind of like the entertainment industry. Oftentimes, it's like feast, lots of speaking gigs, or famine. How do you keep a steady income coming in when you're not on the road, when you're not speaking?
Well, I have a coaching business,
Uh,
so I have my coaching programs that I offer throughout the year, and I have one on one opportunities to work with me. But I also do a lot of advising and consulting with organizations because I come from the community background and I have experience with nonprofit development, with community relations. So I have, contracts that I work with organizations here in my local area, but that's kind of how I keep it going. I have to have sustainable income, so I have several streams of income rather than just speaking because it's up and down, like you said. And I really dedicate certain amount of hours per week to seek opportunities and to make sure people know that I'm out there and that I'm available, because I've gotten so many opportunities from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from connections, just building a network of people that are also speakers to be able to refer as well. So you have
yes.
to stay visible. You have to stay active on social media, just like you say, right? You have to, in order, yeah, I mean, people can't find you unless they know you're there.
Yes, you gave me a great idea. I should have a
Hmm.
page on my website of all my guests so that
Hmm.
speakers bureaus can find them and book them.
Right.
That's a genius idea. Because speakers need to support speakers. I'm in a lot of, well, I used to be in more groups like the National Speakers Association to,
Mm-hmm.
to refer people to each other. So listen to what she said. She said, you'd like the professor and me, you didn't know it was like this. She said, once you quit your job, then in your full time as a speaker, have multiple stream of income. You could
Yes.
be an author, you can be a coach and have programs, you can be a consultant so that
Mm-hmm.
you're not relying all on speaking. I made the mistake at one time because I got this really huge gig and I thought, oh my God, now I've made it. Now I'm just going to keep getting all of these
Huge gig.
gigs. You know what I mean? It was like
Right.
amazing. And then when I crashed from that, I got really depressed because I didn't realize it was not like an escalator. It was like an up and down and up and down. It's like
Yes.
that chart of entrepreneurship where you
Oh my
think it's
goodness.
like a line that goes up and it's actually a squiggly line that
That's
goes
the
up and
truth.
down and up and down and up and down. And that's not just for speaking, that's for entrepreneurship in general. But it's
Yeah.
really important to treat it like a business. So you mentioned something that you
Mm-hmm.
take time to cultivate
Mm-hmm.
speaking. What does that time look like? What is it that you're doing during that time?
So I have, oh, this is a good tip. This is a good tip that I haven't heard any of your guests say, but they might have said it on a show that I didn't listen to, but I've listened to most of them. But this tip is in Google Alerts, you put
Yes.
call for speakers and you set up call for speakers in your niche. So I would do call for speakers in politics, call for speakers in women empowerment. And you get alerts when people or conferences or events put up an alert for a call for speakers when they're seeking speakers. And I get those alerts. And as they come in, if they're a good fit, then I take my Fridays. I take a couple hours on Fridays and I apply. And I already have a cookie cutter of my presentation and of my speaking points. I have a speaker one pager, I have my speaker reel, I have my book link, all these things are ready, so it's a good thing to be prepared, right, to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So you have
Yes,
all
girl.
of these things. You have all these things ready to go, so you just apply, and it doesn't take that much time when you have all of these materials ready to go.
Chandra, can you believe I have the Google alerts, but not in my niche? Oh my goodness. We
Yes.
just, this is an aha moment. Why? Because I always say I have this, the Be a Paid Speaker Now Academy, and one of the modules is clarity is cash. So
Yes.
you need to know your niche and you need to put your niche so that you're looking for opportunities in your niche. Hello.
Hmm.
You're so
Yes.
smart. You're
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
smart.
Thank
Are
you.
you
Well,
involved
I
with
did. Somebody taught
Hispana?
me that. Somebody taught me that.
Are
So
you involved with Hispanas Organized for Political Equality? Hope.
no, I am not. Well,
Yeah.
I have been to a few of their events, but I haven't participated in any of their programs.
Okay, I'm gonna recommend you to speak there. That was my first speaking engagement I ever did, and it was all to help Latinas running for office.
Yeah, no, I know many people that are involved
Mhm.
with it, and I have many friends, and I actually got to reach out to them and say, "Hey, I'm here. Remember me?"
Love
Bring
it.
me on.
No, I'll remind them.
Okay, all
I
right.
know people that are on the board.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So, what has been like one of your biggest lessons that you learned on the road and speaking that you would give as advice to newer speakers or even seasoned speakers?
I would say just to make sure that you have a platform and you have a niche and an expertise that you are speaking about. I mean that, and that might be before they get these big stages, right? That's kind of pre-stage, to have something that you know that people come to you for, that you're known for. That's so important. But when you're speaking on the road, just make sure that you're negotiating well, and that you know that if you are going to be, if the fee is a little lower, that you're able to pitch your whatever product that you have, whatever book you have, whatever service you have, you're able to negotiate that, and don't be scared to negotiate it. I mean, they're calling you for your expertise.
Right.
You are bringing them value, so don't be afraid. It's hard in the beginning because you're new, you just want any type of speaking engagement that you can get, but you have to own it, and the only way you're going to be able to grow is if you own it and own your expertise and own your power, and be able to have stand in your truth and be able to negotiate in that way.
It's so true. Otherwise, you're going to end up resenting it because you're going to be
Yeah, yeah, you don't wanna
way.
resent you don't wanna resent it. You don't wanna resent it. You know, when I figured out, and I'm gonna go backtrack just a little bit on what you were saying about, you think that this can be just one stream of income and you rely on it. You know, when I decided I was going to be a speaker and be a paid speaker, and it was gonna be one of my income streams and I was gonna focus on it, the reason why I did is because somebody seen me on a stage that was starting a speaking bureau, and she found me on a live stream, and she was like, "I need to sign her to my speaking bureau." She's like, "I'm starting this bureau. You're going to be one of the first 20 people," and things happened where that bureau didn't get started the way it had planned to start. So she was like, "We're going to get you $7,000 stages and $10,000 stages." And I was like, "Oh, yes, I don't have to work anymore." you
Mhm.
know, I, I thought that that's how it worked. But like you said, it's up and down. And she's an entrepreneur too, and trying to get her business, off the ground and this going. And there was a lot of red tape and issues that she didn't foresee. So you have to be prepared for that. And I think that was definitely a lesson that I learned on the way, is to make sure you have those several income streams.
Yes. And
Mhm.
you mentioned something that was very interesting. And I know I've booked speaking engagements from Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram hired me from, I mean, NASA hired me from Instagram, girl. That was crazy.
Wow.
I was like, what is going on here? I was like, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, Houston, do you have a budget? They're like, yeah, we do. I didn't say that, but I was thinking that.
Right.
It was just from a hashtag. I put hashtag Latina speaker, hashtag vision board, because I was doing these vision boards, and they flew me to Houston to do a vision board workshop for their Latina high school students. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, it was really fun. But
Yeah.
what do you do on social media to book speaking engagements?
Well, I just highlight everything that I do. And my personal Facebook page, you would have an idea. You know my brand. You know what I stand for. You know it's politics. You know it's women empowerment. All these things. So people ask you, what does Chandra do? People are going to say politics and women empowerment. So making sure that your message is consistent and
Mm,
you are sharing your information on there and what you do, because they can't find you. If you're hiding, if you're shrinking, if you're not posting about what you do. And I'm all over Facebook, and people know that. I'm there. I'm present because I've seen the opportunity that has come my way through Facebook, and even opportunities with Facebook have come through Facebook.
that's so cool. Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. So you have to stay visible. And, people say, "Oh, I don't like to brag about what I do, and I don't like to boast, and I'm modest about it." Well, you're gonna have modest pockets if you continue to be modest on
Ah,
social
tell
media.
them. Preach on.
That's a mic drop right there.
That is a mic drop. Well, just because, and especially in the Latina culture, it's like, oh, it's sin vergüenza. It's
Yeah,
shameful to talk about how fantastic you are. And my grandmother, who's Lithuanian, Latvian, Jewish, would say, if you don't tell people how fantastic you are, they will never know.
no,
So, okay,
exactly. Yes.
okay,
Yes,
grandma.
I love her. I love that message, because it's true. I mean, we have to believe in ourselves and in our message before we can expect anybody else to. So if we don't own it, and if we don't share it, and if we don't believe it, then nobody else is going to believe it.
Yeah, and you mentioned something. It's another key takeaway is consistency. That
Hmm.
you're because what clarity is cash, like
Yeah.
what is your niche? But
Hmm.
then you have to consistently be posting that. You can't just once in a while get on social media. On a regular basis, you need to be in the visibility and at the top of the feed so
Hmm.
that people can see you. How
Hmm.
did you get in with Facebook? Let's talk about Facebook for a minute.
So it was actually through one of my business BFFs, so a really good friend of mine. She got a connection, and they were doing a event for small Black and Latino small businesses, to
Cool.
teach them the Facebook ads platform and how to utilize it effectively. And they had a full day event. And the one thing that I can say that I'm really good at is networking and finding out who's the decision makers and who are those people that I need to know. Who are these people in the room that I need to know and connect with, because I want to take this further. I want to work with Facebook at a different level than just coming to a training at Facebook. So I talked to the people there, we connected, but also I took that training that they provided me and I developed partnerships outside of Facebook with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Black
Oh,
Chamber of Commerce, the Minority Business Consortium, and I developed a social media training based on what I learned. I developed it outside, and Facebook reached out to me, and Facebook said, "You are ahead of the game, girl. This is what we wanted people to do. Thank you
wow.
for doing this. What do you think about a partnership?" So I was just visionary. I seen it, I took it. I'm like, I want to share the knowledge just like I did with my book, just like I do on stages. It's share, share, share. I don't like to hoard information
Right.
and keep it from everybody, because I think there's plenty for all of us. So I took it and I started doing the trainings, and they're going to come to the training I'm doing on November 17th here in San Jose, California. It's on social media, and really how to get your business out there on social media. But that's kind of how it landed. And even from Facebook, I landed another opportunity by just standing out and connecting with the right people, and just continue to connect with them on Facebook, show them what you're about, show them what you do, and make sure that they're watching you all the time. So that's
Wow,
a
we
bit.
should all go to her training. I'm going
Yes.
to put all of your information in our show notes, so that people can stay in touch with you and have the opportunity to see you live. What would be the best place for people to follow you on and stay connected?
Chandra Brooks, the socialpreneur, Facebook page would be the best
Okay, so
place.
Chandra Brooks, socialpreneur, and I'll put that link
Hmm.
in the show notes. And anything else that you're excited about, latest projects or programs that you want to invite people to?
Well, I think this is going to air after I launch my Powerhouse Academy, but I'm launching a Powerhouse Academy for women that want to be a powerhouse, that want to, just be their leader already, but they want to take it to the next level. I'm giving you everything in a 6-week package, everything that you need to be the powerhouse that you want to be in 6 weeks, and you work with me directly. But that launches on November 12th. But I also have the training on November 17th with social media, and that's going to be here in San Jose.
Love it.
Hmm.
And you definitely want to connect with her and to learn from her. And like me, be inspired by her, but not just inspiration. Oh, that's nice that she did this. I want you to take inspired action. I'm
Yes.
inviting you to take inspired action, because everything that Chandra does, everything that I do is about getting out there into walking your talk, not just thinking, oh, this would be nice, this would be nice. Now is the time. Now is the time to speak up. Now is the time to let your voice be heard. Now is the time to be that messenger for the message. We all need to get out there and speak. It's just, I saw last night, I was watching Oprah. She was campaigning with one of the Georgia candidates. And I'm like, yes, Oprah, now is the time. Because Oprah was my mentor every day at 3 p.m. We used to get together and she used to coach me, right? And just to see her even now in her retirement, like come out and say, well, she said, when you're blessed, when you're given a lot of blessings by God, it's your opportunity to share with those that may not have received all the blessings, to be of service. And so she
Hmm.
says, and this is what she used to say to me in my coaching sessions, is to ask yourself every day, how can I be of service? And
Hmm.
I always ask myself, how can I be of service and to be abundantly paid to do what I love? Because in
Hmm.
order to serve others, I need to give from a full well. We all need to. And
Yes.
I love that you're doing that. You're the living, breathing embodiment of social good, and also being able to live your life on purpose. So
Hmm.
I'm so grateful to
Thank
have you
you.
on the show.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for all these great nuggets and for being number one podcast listener. She's listened to every episode, my friend.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, and now the new favorite is going to be yours, of course. Everyone's going to love it. Put a little star by this. So thank you so much. And I want to thank you all for listening, for tuning in. I want to remind you that if you love this podcast, if this podcast rocked your world, give it a 5-star review. Go over to iTunes and say, 5 stars, what you loved about it, because when we share, we care, and we're able to get it out even more to the world. And also, if you're interested in taking any of what we talked about further, you can join us with the Be a Paid Speaker Now Academy. This is to allow you to turn your expertise into a speaking business. And you could go to beapaidspeakernow.com and learn even more. So remember, with the power of synergy, anything is possible. Ciao. Thank you for tuning in to the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. If you love this show, feel free to share it with friends. I believe sharing is caring. And when you write us a great review, your karma points will be adding up. And I'd like to give you something. If you love the show, you can download a free copy of my latest webinar, How to Get Paid 5 Steps to Be a Paid Speaker. You can download it at deborahderas.com, DeborahDeras.com/speak now. Remember, you are the messenger for the message. And with the power of synergy, anything is possible.